Good afternoon. This is Janet McElligott coming to you live from Los Angeles. The world's eyes are on Los Angeles because of what began in a Home Depot parking lot on Friday and what happened at the Federal Building in downtown Los Angeles. ICE, which is the Immigration Services, were sent in or went in riot gear in Paramount, California, which is a town not far from Los Angeles. It's in Los Angeles County, but it's actually closer to Long Beach, California. It is southeast of the city. So they went in riot gear to basically get their quota of what they're considering illegal aliens. This was a directive and a promise of President Trump to take illegal aliens off the street. But his promise was to take those off the street that were gang related. Paramount is a community of mostly Latino workers. And when some of the neighbors and people in the neighborhood saw what was happening at Home Depot, they began to protest. The flag that you've been seeing on photographs in Los Angeles, that's a Mexican flag saying they want to protect the people that were their gardeners, their construction workers, whatever it is. This also began to happen on Friday as people who were coming in for their court cases. The ICE, we call them ICE, it's Immigration and Customs Enforcement. So that when I say ICE, that's what I mean. So the ICE officers, and some of them may not have even been officers because they were dressed in blue jeans and they had bandanas wrapped around their heads and couldn't be identified. How do I know? My friend was there and she told me. So I am about 2 miles from downtown and about 13 miles from Paramount for your information. So they began to grab people as they were coming out of the Federal Building. And one woman thought that they were just kidnapping people. And one kid who was grabbed was a teenage kid who was born in the United States and started screaming as they're demanding that he shows evidence. This is how the riots began. And it came into full force truly on Sunday. And yes, there's been destruction now. And sometimes I'm hearing, like late last night, I heard police cars running up and down, bypassing this area. Most of the destruction that you saw was in downtown. Now that brings me to the federal government response. President Trump, according to what I'm seeing on the news, about 10 minutes ago, said he's sending in 700 Marines. Now, if that is true, that is a violation of the U.S. federal law. In 1878, there was an act of Congress called Posse Comitatas. Posse Comitatas was enacted because of the misuse of the American Army to quell and to bring people to heel after the Civil War. Posse Comitatus says that you cannot utilize the Army, the Air Force, the military. Sorry, it keeps cutting out. What a surprise. So Posse Comitatus is an act of Congress. And it says that if anyone violates this law, this act of Congress, Posse Comitatus Act of 1878, then they will face up to 2 years in prison. There was also a nationalization of what is called the National Guard. Now that is something that the governor of California, Gavin Newsom, has said, we don't want the National Guard to come in here. On Saturday and Sunday in Paramount, California, riot police came in and they began to shoot rubber bullets and use tear gas on the crowds. And that's when things really went out of control. There was, at that time, peaceful protesting from what I am told from first-person accounts. And that's when someone in the crowd picked up a garbage bag, lit it on fire, and threw it at the police to get them to stop the tear gas. What will happen out of this mess, which has devolved now into something similar that we saw in Portland, Oregon, and Seattle a few years ago? I don't know. But I can tell you, the mayor of Los Angeles has been pretty much absent, which has allowed a vacuum of power that Trump is stepping into. And Governor Newsom is saying, do not step into that vacuum. Do not send troops in here. Do not violate the Congressional Act of 1878, which forbids federal troops from coming in. I'll keep you updated on what's going to happen or what is happening, because all I have to do is go outside my front door. But yes, there were cars set on fire, 5 Waymo driverless cars. Yes, the workers who have been arrested and detained, I've been told they're part of some kind of group. I don't know if any of that's accurate. But for the moment, and most of Los Angeles is safe. Downtown is very questionable at the moment, down by Alameda Street. Paramount, which is closer to Long Beach, is not safe. Those were, and most of the workers in Paramount were people who worked at the port. They work in the oil fields. They work as gardeners. They're decent, good, hard-working people. And I hope that we can get this all under control. And if Mayor Karen Bass has a backbone of any kind, maybe we can. But she's obviously the wrong choice for this job right now. And if this isn't an act for impeachment for Karen Bass, I don't know what is, because she has been missing in action. Thank you, and I'll keep you updated.